Welcome back to the Musician's Mindset. Dean here. We're in our final section on the foundation for confidence. And this section is super important. This is vital. Without this, a lot of what I've already taught is just going to go in one ear and out the other. And what I'm talking about here is called the 4 stages to competence, or the 4 stages to learning, is another way of saying it. And what this basically is understanding that the 4 stages that we go through when we're learning something. And the reason that this is important is because all of these concepts that I've already shared with you, again, they'll just go in one ear and out the other, and you'll forget them tomorrow unless you understand the 4 stages to competence. So what are we talking about here? The first stage is unconscious incompetence. That's basically saying you don't know what you don't know. And there's always something that we are unconsciously incompetent in, that I don't know what I don't know, right? We can say that about anything. Early on, let's give you a musical example. Early on when I started playing guitar, I didn't know what a bar chord was. I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that was a thing. I was unconsciously incompetent when it came to a bar chord. Over time, I was exposed to that. How? Don't remember. Doesn't matter. Once I realized or learned or saw that there was this thing called a bar chord, I saw somebody actually maybe play a bar chord. I'm like, what is that? Oh, that's a bar chord. Oh, now I was consciously incompetent. I knew about it, but I didn't know how to play it. All right, that's stage 2. Then you move to stage 3 where you become consciously competent, where now you can do it. Now you can play the bar chord, but you've got to think about it. You have to think about what you're doing. And then with enough repetition and time, you become unconsciously competent, which means you don't have to think about it anymore. You just do it. You just play the bar chord, piece of cake. You don't even think about it anymore. It becomes so easy. It's kind of like tying your shoe. I can tie my shoe, but I can't tell you how to tie your shoe because I don't remember. I mean, at one point I didn't know how to tie a shoe. Didn't know you could. Same thing. And over time you learn how to tie a shoe, and now it's just automatic. You don't have to think about it. Why is this important? Again, because all these concepts that I've taught you previous to this will be null and void. They'll go in one ear and out the other unless you get them at an unconscious competent level. So you just know them automatically. Because when you do that, that's when the real magic starts to happen. Because now you're vibrating at a whole different level, and your success kind of starts to come just automatically. And you flow through life, into music, through music, with your music, just a lot easier. You just get into a flow state. That's another way of expressing that. So I would really ask you, let me just suggest that you consider these stages and understand them, and know that no matter where you're at with your music right now, there is some aspect of it that you can probably get better at so that you become unconsciously competent at it. Maybe it's just really with your instrument, playing your instrument more proficiently. Maybe you want to become a better lead guitar player and you don't feel very competent at your lead guitar playing, and you're a little insecure about that. Well, just know, and of course, there's plenty of examples online of videos you can watch of people that are amazing lead guitar players. And you might think to yourself, oh man, I got a long ways to go. There's no way I can ever get that good. This is a common experience when you get to that second stage, that conscious competence level. Between the second and third stage really is where the rub is, because you realize there's so much more to learn to get to that unconscious competence stage. This is again where your teachability comes in. Always remain teachable, willingness to learn, willingness to accept change. So now you start to look at these guys and gals that are really ripping it up on their guitar on YouTube or wherever, or out at a show, and they should be inspiring to you versus you wanting to put the guitar down and put it in the closet and never pick it up again. Because you realize they've gone through the stages. They've gone from unconscious incompetence and knowing nothing about how to play the guitar, and they've worked through those stages, and they're now at a point where they don't have to think about it, they can just play it. And it's a wonderful experience, and again, this is part of the journey. So I want you to really consider these stages and really spend some time thinking about them and repeat the material. Go back and watch the previous sections and the previous modules and watch them over and over and over again. That's how you get to unconscious competence, is through spaced repetition. That's your friend. I'm sure you've heard the 10,000 hour rule. And that basically says that if you spend 10,000 hours doing any activity, whatever it happens to be, you'll get to mastery. Well, that's what we're talking about here. And if you understand these various stages to learning and know that that's the process that you go through, that should be encouraging to you, and know that you just keep on and keep going and keep going and keep going. Spaced repetition. So the 4 stages to competence, the 4 stages to learning, they should be your friend, and you should become familiar with them and memorize them and know them in and out. Get the book. They're in the book. Watch these videos over and over again, and you will see some major improvement, and you'll find that your confidence goes up when you understand these principles. Because you realize, oh, I just haven't spent enough time doing what I need to do. Okay, now you know what your next step is. And we're going to talk about some goal setting and things like that in upcoming modules, but I hope this helps, and keep rocking. Take care.